Hey, welcome to another interview in our RightBlogger Customer Spotlight series. Today, I'm joined with Eron Bruns, one of the owners of Simple Analytics, our own go-to privacy-focused, user-friendly alternative to Google Analytics that we use here at RightBlogger. In our conversation today, Eron shares about Simple Analytics' most successful marketing campaigns and growth channels. We talk about how they've used their novel business model in this industry, charging a subscription instead of selling user data, as one of the most effective marketing messages they have. We go into their decision to switch to a freemium business model, how they've engineered some pretty incredible word-of-mouth marketing growth, the ways they're using AI to enhance, not replace human productivity, and more. Please enjoy my conversation with Eron Bruns.
Yeah, so my name is Eron Bruns. So it's not Iron Brands. I'm not a marketing agency. I'm a person. It's a Dutch name. Well, no, actually, I don't know if it's really a Dutch name because I haven't met anyone that's called Eron. And I am the founder of Simple Analytics. And Simple Analytics is a privacy-friendly and simple alternative to Google Analytics.
That is one of the coolest names I've ever heard. I think when I first read it, I was like, Iron Brands? Who is this guy? So could you please just pass my thanks to your parents for that one?
I think my parents didn't even think about it because in Dutch it's just two words that don't mean anything. So they just didn't think about it if they would put those two words together in an English context or an international context. It would be like some kind of like a joke to a lot of people because I get this question a lot. But obviously, from like if when I'm in a call with someone, it's like, is this your real name or is this like the holding company that what I'm talking to?
You could adapt like a whole character, a persona here. You could have some real fun with that one over time.
Yeah, actually, you should start a marketing agency.
Yes, I love it, man. Well, we're here to talk about Simple Analytics primarily. This is the privacy first Google Analytics alternative. Why should someone who's watching this care about that? Like, what's the importance about privacy when it comes to web analytics?
Yeah, so I think before we dive into it, it's good to go like a bit back to the origin story because I actually didn't found the company. It was Adrian, my now co-founder, business partner. So he's an engineer and he was working for a development agency. And then I'm talking about like 2017, 2018. And he was working a lot with Google Analytics. And well, if you kind of know the ins and outs of Google Analytics, you know that Google doesn't give a shit about like, privacy. And if you are an engineer or someone that does care about privacy, and constantly working with Google Analytics just becomes like big tedious, a bit nagging, just it doesn't feel right. And what engineers kind of tend to do, also a bit like engineers that have a bit of an entrepreneurial mindset, like they start building their own stuff. They start building their own solutions. So Adrian was like, okay, I'm constantly working with Google Analytics. Isn't there like a better alternative that gives me the insights that I need on my website? Because that's what you want. But then like in a way that is also privacy friendly and it actually takes into account like the privacy of website visitors. So he just built it, first version, launched it on Hacker News, and then bang! Like a lot of people was like, "Man, I'm looking. This is a solution to my problem," and that's how actually the company started. So it was actually from like a privacy mindset by a person that was like driven by like ethics. That's how the company started. I joined maybe 1.5 year later when it started to get from like a project into a real business and someone had to take care of all the other stuff that comes with having a business. That's kind of the origin story here. But to come back to your point, like why it's important, so Google Analytics is free. It has a market cap of like 90% of like websites that use web analytics use Google Analytics because it's just the one thing. Like everyone is using it, and it's free because if you want to like say it simple, they're earning money because of selling your data. Because you can use the product for free, and they earn by selling your data to advertisers. Just if you don't need to go into technicalities, but that's it. So Adrian felt like, hey, there's a different way. What if we can just ask for a subscription fee? Like Simple Analytics has a free plan, but it's mainly like a paid offering. And instead of like just asking for real money, we just store your data. We don't sell it to anyone. the data is yours.
I like that. That's actually like, I mean, it seems subtle to people who maybe don't have a super deep level of experience with stuff online, but this is really a big deal. Any free product, you're ultimately the product in some way, shape, or form, right? So I think you guys really nailed something here. And also, Google totally torched the effectiveness of analytics, especially with GA4. When they rolled out Google Analytics 4, like a couple years ago, a few years ago, I was like, what is even going on here? It's kind
That
of
was good for business,
incomprehensible.
to be honest. Like that was good for our business because like,
Yeah.
obviously we're called simple analytics, not privacy analytics. So there are two angles to this. So Adrian founded the business really like driven from like a privacy angle and from a, like an ethical perspective. But then, and so the first kind of customers, they really valued like the privacy part. But now, like we're 5 years in, and most of our users actually sign up and say, like, I just want to know what's happening on my website. I don't want to open the Google Analytics 4 dashboard, see tons of custom dashboards, no idea where I'm looking at. And I just want to have like, where are my people, like my visitors coming from? Where, like, what channels are they using? Are they coming through there, like on their phone or on the desktop? It's like they just want to have the basic information in a simple dashboard. So we kind of shifted from like, okay, we are the privacy first like alternative to Google Analytics. It's like we're the simple alternative to Google Analytics.
Yeah, I mean, simple analytics is very true to the name. Like, I open my dashboard, Andy and I, we've got, I don't know, like 50 sites or something in our simple analytics dashboard. And you can click on any of the projects, any of the sites you've got in here, and you immediately just see, like, okay, here's which pages are getting traffic. Here's where that traffic's coming from. Here's what people are doing. Like, you can set up very simple, easy to use funnels that show you, like, this is the conversion rate from people doing this event to doing that event. And it's like, how did Google, this massive company, get this so wrong? And you guys have like really nailed giving people insights, helping people figure out like what they can do based on the data inside their analytics dashboard. That, I think, is what you guys have totally nailed.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, for a big group, that's probably only what they need, right? So, I mean, if you look at our customers, it's mainly like people that have like a blog or a small medium business that just wants to know what's going on their website. If you are, I would say, like a larger e-commerce company and you rely like very hard on like Google paid ads, like you're part of that ecosystem. So then you're not going to use us. You're still going to be part of the Google Analytics ecosystem. And that's fair because that's working for them. But for a lot of, like, for most of us, it's totally like we would use like 5% of that functionality. And then it's probably better to look at like, okay, can I just have a simple dashboard that shows me what I want to see?
So you mentioned when Simple Analytics first launched, you guys started as kind of a paid analytics, alternative. GA is free. You're the product with them. But I saw last year, you guys rolled out the 100% free plans. Can you talk us through the decision to open up to like the freemium model?
Yeah, so we kind of noticed at some point, like the company was doing well. We're just still with the two of us. So we're a two-man company. Obviously, we have some people working, but we're bootstrapped, no VC funding. We just wanted to like build a product that our users love and would love to pay for, and then like create a sustainable and profitable business from it. But at one point, it's a tough sell if you have to like beat up Google Analytics that is a free product that does 100 times more than what we are doing. So we basically say, okay, so we have this lesser dashboard, which is a bit more like insightful, a bit easier to use. But instead of like giving it for free, we ask you money to actually use 5% of the functionality. So at one point we were like, hey, there's still a lot of people out there that would love to use like just a really simple dashboard for a website that is not making money. So they can't really, like, if the website is not making money, you can't afford to actually spend a lot of money. So we were like, hey, maybe we should give those people or those users that have like a non making money website, give them the opportunity to actually also start using it. Like, and at one point, if you want to use, so it's a kind of freemium version. So at one point, if the website is making money or the website is growing and you want like additional features, obviously then it would be like a decision for you to actually start like paying for premium features. But we felt like we were at the right time to actually show our product to the masses and actually open up our product to also people that have websites that are not making money.
How's that experiment gone?
Quite well, quite well. So the total amount of signups are just through the roof. And that said, it also works well for our paid offering in the sense that most of our users come through word of mouth or like through chats that we have or through just people talking about the product. And obviously, if they start using the product and it's free, but they have a little blog where they're still working at, for example, a company, and at a company they're discussing analytics. Obviously, they will say, "Hey, yeah, I'm using simple analytics for my little blog that I have, or whatever, or side project, and maybe we could start using it here." So we're seeing like that word of mouth effect, what was kind of strong already, but very small when we had just a paid offering. That is just like getting bigger, bigger, bigger. It also, from a business perspective, it also like works in the long term, I suppose.
What I like most about this play is that you are playing the long-term game here. You're not like, how do I scoop up the most value, the most money, like maximize our income right now today. Like this is, I mean, it's a relationship building play to where if you keep delivering value and improving the product, right? Adding more features, teaching people how to do things related to their websites over the course of months and years, it's a no-brainer that you guys are going to be who they want to use as their business grows or as they start other projects with people, as they move jobs. I think it's genius.
Yeah. No, and it's also like the sense I mentioned it just before, we're like not VC funded or bootstrap. So there's no investor, no one like telling us, hey guys, we need to like ramp up, we need to make more money, we need to invest, we need to whatever. No, it's just like us just building product and actually deciding on, okay, how do we want to like place this product in the market, and how can we show our product to like the most people? We also don't have a sales team or or a marketing team. It's just us. So our product needs to speak for ourselves. And so in the free plan is actually a way to just show the product to people. And if they like it, they will just tell other people. And at one point, it makes sense for someone to put in their credit card and and like increase our revenue.
What's something that most people think or believe about web analytics that isn't true or a misconception?
Well, I think people are maybe a lot too hung up on like conversion and like really, really, really deep into the metrics, because at one point, like we're not tracking too much conversion at all. Because I know if you visit our website, let's say you visit our website, by the time that you want to decide that you want to buy our product, you have like gone away, like see me on LinkedIn, then you added Adrian on LinkedIn, and then again in like 3 months you're thinking about analytics, and then you type in simple analytics, and then you may be thinking, okay, maybe we should start a free trial, and then so like the attribution of like the conversion, where did you come from, like it's not even relevant. Like you found, because if I want to measure the conversion, I will just take the last point at the point that whenever you're ready to sell, and apparently you came like by that point from LinkedIn, then I'm going to attribute that conversion to LinkedIn, whereas everything that happened before in the buyer journey is not accounted for. So if people are just too hung up on like, especially for like, I'm not, so e-commerce would be a different case, and people that work a lot with paid ads, obviously it's like they decide their ad spend on conversion. But for a lot of users, and I think for 90% of us, like don't just get too hung up on conversion, because the buying process is so much larger than we think and what the number is on the screen.
That is such good advice. I love that. What would you say the goal of a website should be today?
Like I've been seeing like a lot of trends in website design, and with the AI, like website designers, or AI website generation, everything seems a bit alike. And I think if you want to stand out, and at one point you have to just be yourself and just explain in a very easy manner in your own words. So if the word seamless is already on your website, I'm just going to click away because I know it's like kind of like generated. But I feel like if you can like convey your story in a thoughtful and logical manner, I think you're already quite like up there. So, and to be honest, to come back to your point, the first time I checked RightBlogger, like, okay, it's just clear. It's clear what you're doing. And then if you scroll down, is the video of you actually explaining what you're doing. So within, I would say, 10 seconds, you know if you want to like engage with the product that you're selling or not. So I think that should be the most important thing.
You mentioned AI. Are you guys using AI in any interesting ways that you'd want to share with people? You know, maybe learnings you've had from using tools in different capacities?
Yeah, 100%. So actually, a fun thing is that we're now hiring for a developer role, and the main criteria is if you're as a developer not using AI, there's no chance we're hiring you. It is like AI makes you so much faster, and this is a developer. Obviously, we're not like in going into like developer technicalities here. Like AI is obviously changing that area, but also the blogging area. So we 100% we use AI to assist with our like pages, creating content, creating how-to pages. And actually, what we did is kind of like funny how we approached it, because when you use AI, you don't want like it's good, but there's a shitty version of using AI and there's a proper version of using AI, right? So
Totally.
I think we should be all aware when we are using AI, like we should be all aware not to put shitty AI on your website, because it could really like if I'm reading like a generated AI blog and it's really shitty AI, then it's like it feels a bit lazy. It feels a bit like the human touch is lost there. But if you use it in the right way, so for example, we create our blogs, for example, which is still human assisted at the end. But we have created like a custom GPT that is trained on our knowledge base. So it gets our tone of voice in. So all of our documentation is in there. And obviously we have like prompted it in the way that I say, okay, write it like Elon would write it, I would say. And everything that comes out, like obviously we're going through, we're editing, but so it's still like we're putting in the human factor, the human touch, but we're just speeding up the process like 10x. And I think that should be the main goal of AI. It's not to like take over and just put just like your whole website full of AI, but you can just use it to just 10x yourself. And that's probably what we are doing here as well.
Yeah, this is so core to what we teach too, is that, they're lazy is the right word, actually. You can click, generate on an article, give it like 3 words and just have it write an article, and it's going to be terrible. Like, I promise it'll be terrible. No matter what, like even using our tools, it'll still be bad. Where you make good content with AI is by spending a lot of time and effort and energy, like spend 15, 20 minutes with the prompting process and fill in all these additional details, like add your own examples, your stories, your nuance, like real life human stuff into it. And then, of course, editing, right? Like that's where content has always come to life, is during the editing process, when you go back and you refine what you got down on your first draft. And this is no different. It's just a
No.
slightly different way to getting to similar end results. You can do it fast.
Yeah, and I mean, I use it even for my own writing. So even for my own blog. So I blog about like what we're doing in the business. So it's called like a build in public blog. So where we share everything, share our struggles, share revenue. So you would feel like that's the least AI thing that someone could write, because AI has no idea what we're doing in the business. But still, like starting with something is so much better than starting with a blank slate. Like just I'm not a writer. So immediately, if I open like my docs or my Word page and there's a blank page, like I could sit there for an hour and still have nothing on paper. With like the tools and the tools that RightBlogger is also building, just gets you going. It gets you like faster to where you want to be. And it's still like I don't feel like it's AI, because I'm still there. I'm part of the process. I'm like writing my own newsletter still. The AI enhancement there made me so much faster and so much better at writing, actually.
It's cool to see how AI is so applicable for like different types of roles and contexts too, because you said you wouldn't hire someone as a developer who's not using AI. And Andy talks all the time now about how like, I don't know if I can code anymore without the help of AI, because it's helped
Yeah.
him to like do so much better at the things he's doing. And I feel the same way with content. Like it helps me do things in ways that I wouldn't necessarily have thought about. Like it brings alternative perspectives and it helps me accelerate the things I already know I'm good at. So it is a no-brainer if you're using it the right way.
And I think with development, it's quantifiable, right? It's just writing lines of code. And if the AI can write lines of code, like you're faster. That's it. But for blogging, it's still like this weird kind of vibe. Still, or can you use it? Can you not use it? Does it feel human? Doesn't it feel human? But I mean, if it speeds up like engineers building and it can 10x engineers, I don't believe if anyone says that's only for engineers. It's not for writing. It's not for blogging. I can't believe that.
Have you guys learned anything that has maybe surprised you? Let's just kind of isolate this to growth and marketing. So kind of in the context here of like sharing, lessons learned. Has anything surprised you? Has there been any particular marketing channels that maybe have grown you guys' business faster than you expected?
I would say our focus from the beginning. So when I joined Adrian, when he was building actually like the product, there was zero marketing because he's an engineer. Engineers like to build. Engineers don't like marketing. So we started focusing on SEO, picking like the low hanging fruit, and that went like quite all right. But it was so much effort because this was before the AI, before ChatGPT, basically. So we grew like SEO from like 0 to I think it was like maybe 8K visitors per month. That for us is quite all right because we're in a very competitive space competing with Google Analytics that takes all the keywords for analytics. So we were all right with that. But and we continued using that channel also with ChatGPT, but now it's like we can just 10x ourselves. Because if I would be writing a blog post like how to add simple analytics to WordPress, it would take me quite a while. And now it's like I spin up how to add simple analytics to Webflow, Squarespace, Wix, like all these kind of pages. So if someone is looking to actually add website analytics to their Squarespace website, like they might run into us and then we could tell them about simple analytics. So like more of these like templated pages, I would say. That was something we didn't do before. We couldn't do before because we're missing, like if we would do it like writing by hand would just take too long and then it was not worth the effort. But now we're seeing like on the development side we can 10x ourselves and on the growth side we can also 10x ourselves without hiring, which is something that surprised us because when we started we thought, hey, at the point where we are now, we would have a team. Where we would need to have a team, like at least 5 people, maybe 2 engineers, maybe 2 marketeers, just to get like the content machine going, like the posting on social media, newsletters, whatever. But you can now run a business with like the 2 of you. Like you're doing the same, right?
Same thing. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be like a big shift also in growth teams and marketing teams that yes, you still need people. Like AI cannot do everything for you, but you can like 10x yourself without like hiring new people, which is also for us a very interesting development. And people that like aspire to be an entrepreneur is a very interesting development because you can do so much more now and you don't need like the big team and a lot of money to actually start your own business. But I mean, for a lot of other people that like are copywriters in a very big organization or are developers in a very large organization, it might be that there's like the company only needs a bit lesser of the developers, a bit few of them. I mean, this is like, it surprised me. It kind of feels logical, but it did surprise me like how real this is.
I love that. Something that you just made me think about is that I never really completely understand the doom and gloom around AI is going to take my job because I'm so deeply rooted in the mindset of like, this is a new tool. Now I get to figure out how I can be useful to the people I work with, work for, customers we make product for. I get to figure out how I can use this new thing to be more useful, to be more effective, to do more fill in the blank. And so I think that subtle mindset difference is something that a lot of people will kind of just latch on to, maybe the like scary headlines they see in their social media feeds, or they'll they'll accept that energy, that downer energy or that doom energy from other people without ever questioning, like, okay, where's the opportunity here? Or like, where's the challenge I can rise to here? And that's such a better way to live.
And it has lowered the barrier to actually also take action, because beforehand you might have needed like a lot of money to build the thing that you want to build, because you needed to hire like a development team. But you can learn everything yourself. And for example, even starting a newsletter or a blog, which might be like for a lot of people, and even for me, it would be like a big deal, because you need a lot of like resources and time and energy to actually start doing that. But even with this and also the tools that you are providing, also with this, with the AI like going on, it's just lowered the barrier to entry so much more. Obviously, there's going to be more competition, but like it gives you like a reason to like start. There's no excuse not to start anymore.
And that's scary. Taking away people's
Yeah.
excuses is terrifying.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, and also feel like being an entrepreneur has like in the past was something that was considered very like risky move, right? And I feel like it's becoming less and less of a risky move and more of a risky move to stay working as a number at a really big company.
Definitely.
So
Like, I think it's the smartest thing you can do to diversify your income sources so that if you do get laid off for some reason or another, you have something else already going on. I meet so many people through my blog and through RightBlogger who are in this situation of like, hey, I just lost my job, trying to figure out what to do next, thinking I want to start my own thing. And that's a really tough time. It's not impossible, but that's a really tough time to try and figure out starting your own thing. Like the best time to start your own stuff is while it's on the side of something that's covering your bills.
yeah. No, and it's also, so I speak to a lot of people, and mainly like more in the engineering community, the like software community, and a lot of people ask me like, okay, if I want to be a founder or an entrepreneur, how should I start? Like, and I'm like, okay, don't think about like your biggest idea, but just think about like starting. You just need to start. And what is the smallest thing you could think of just to start? And even if it's just like I would say like a newsletter might be like for a lot of people like a small thing to start. You could just spin up a newsletter with whatever tools that are out there. Also use your AI tools to actually start the newsletter. And once you put stuff out into the world, like you'll receive feedback on that stuff. Like you will come in conversations with people. The fact that we are in the conversation right now is that you guys are using simple analytics. Send me an email like, hey, I like it. Like, how did you guys build it? And we like started coming in a conversation, and now we're on the podcast. So once people just start, and I didn't start with simple analytics, I started with a shitty business when I was in university. But just like the moment that you flick the switch and you say, okay, I'm just going to start with the smallest thing possible and I'm going to put my stuff into the world, like it gets the ball rolling.
I just published a video and post literally today talking about the lack of information myth. I need more information. I need more education. I need more books, courses, and that's just such a trap. I think education's helpful up to a certain extent, but then ultimately you only learn, like clarity only comes through action and progress only comes through action.
Books, even like the best business books, is just procrastination.
Exactly. Like motivation, like building smart habits, showing up for yourself to do the thing. These are the ways that things are actually created. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, no. But it's so true. It's 100% true. You just need to get started, and it doesn't matter with which idea. It doesn't matter which newsletter or what is it about. But you need to put something into the world, receive feedback, and then you just get into like this feedback loop that helps you just grow, find your voice, find your niche, and then you'll figure it out eventually, 100%. But you just need to get started.
And you'll connect with other people. You'll have conversations. The conversations will spark things. Opportunities will be created because you're doing things. I love that. You mentioned, your first shitty business in university. You've also got some other side projects going on. What else are you working on these days? And yeah, what was your first business? I'm really curious about that.
Okay, so And then I'm going a bit back, but I always thought I would be a consultant or at least working at a very big company. So I studied economics, then did my master's in finance because I thought, okay, that would get me a high-paying job. I didn't know anything about finance, but it sounded cool. So I did finance, which was all right. Then I got into an internship. Like I just suited up, go to like the internship, and then was just like this financial consultant. And I was like, oh, this is not it. This can't be it. I can't be doing this for like I did for 6 months, but I was like, okay, I need to get out of this world. So I started reading more about like startups and like that sounded like just like quick and just things going on and you're with a team and like the cohesiveness and so like it attracted me. So I started doing internship at a startup, and there the startup flopped. But I learned so much that you could just like spin up a business and like try to sell your ideas. So at one point, then I thought, okay, so the second internship started went belly up, but then I thought I could do this myself. So with my best friend still in university in our last year, we had no idea. Like we were like, shit, we want to start a business, but what kind of business? We don't have any problems to solve or any ideas. We're both not technical. So we came up with let's connect students, because we were students, with internship opportunities at companies. And we're just going to call companies and say, hey, looking for internships. And then we got like lots of student friends and we were like, okay, there's internship opportunity for you. But there was no validation, nothing. So if you look back, like, which is 6 years now, it's 6 years ago, and I look back to that person, I would be saying like, that's what an idiot. But that's a good thing because then I know like I've evolved. So I was like, oh man, these
By the
guys have
way,
no
it's
idea what they're
not a
doing.
bad idea on the surface. I think the nuance is like how it comes to life always, right?
Yeah, and we struggled. We struggled for 3 years. The company still does exist now and is actually running profitable. But at one point, like this is also like we're hailing talking really good about like the life of entrepreneurship, and it's very appealing to a lot of people. But when the business is struggling, and we struggled for like 2 3 years because we didn't find like the product market fit because we just came up with an idea. Like it was really hard on me. So I was actually like, and I was doing all the sales calls, but we weren't getting any positive results. So I was just grinding, but it was just 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. So at one point, I was like, okay, this can't be it anymore. Like I quit, and I had the business with my best friend. So that was also kind of a struggle. Luckily, we worked it out, but emotionally, that period was like really draining. And at that point, so after that, I met Adrian, and then we worked out. I became business owner in Simple Analytics, the company that I have now. And what I felt like with Adrian and now with the like side projects you just mentioned is that in the community and in like where I hang out, there's a lot of like super smart people, like engineers that have like 10x my IQ basically. They are just so insane and they can build so insanely great projects, but they just either lack the marketing skills or they just don't care about it. So now I also have a co-founder of a company that is like a hosting company for Unify controllers. I have no idea what it means, but I knew it was like this one guy, Dries, my co-founder, a genius guy, building a solution because he was actually fixing a problem. So we figure like if he was having that problem, there gotta be other people that have this problem. So even with me knowing nothing about the product, I knew a thing about growing and I knew a thing about SEO because I did that at Simple Analytics. So then I partnered up with Dries. I said, you take care of the product. I believe in you. I believe that you're fixing a problem. Let me take away like the part that you don't want to do. So that is basically how like so it's just 2 companies now, but this is something where I have positioned myself in as someone that actually wants to help like engineers, like genius engineers, to have to take them from a project to a business. And obviously there's something in it for me because I become a co-founder of a company that I would never ever have could have built in my life.
I think we are running the same playbook over here because Andy is incredible at building a product, like unbelievable. One of the most prolific builders of things that I've ever met. And I don't know how to build anything, but I can do marketing for it. I can talk to people, I can learn from them, I can bring in insights and say, hey, here's what people will actually pay for. And I know how to go out and find those people and bring them in. So it's really cool what can happen when you partner up with the right person who is just very good at what they do. And, they're going to have blind spots. And if your superpower aligns with their blind spots, it could be a really cool win.
100%. And this is also, and this comes forward, like we started the conversation by talking about like, just get started. The fact that I had a shitty business in university was something that put me on the like entrepreneurial trail, I would say. It got me into touch with Adrian because he knew me that I had the business because I started like wanted to sell the business, like the internships to him. We got into a conversation and then he also I basically asked him like, aren't you looking for a marketing partner? Because he wasn't doing any marketing. And I still had some kind of like track record because I was the marketing founder of like this business that I had before. So it got like the business. So getting started eventually like showed me like, or I came to a place where I met Adrian, who is now my co-founder. So that's like the whole idea is just to get the ball rolling, and you'll get into places where you wouldn't like have thought you would be coming, but you will be because you just started.
Yeah. Doing things, anything really, will create
Doing
unexpected
anything, yeah.
opportunities, will bring people into your orbit. That's always my advice too. Like get your first few swings out of the way because you're probably going to miss. I mean, people have great home runs on their first swing in business, but more often than not, like you gotta have some strikes and you gotta learn how to hit the ball and you gotta learn all the other things that happen after you've figured out product market fit too. But just get started. I think that's the theme here.
Yeah, 100%. That's something I could live with. Yeah.
Do you have any personal habits or practices in your life that you would say kind of contribute to your ability to do what you do?
So there's a few things that like are a habit now, but weren't before. But so I told you about like the period I was kind of like struggling mentally, and there was just no switch off in my head. I was just constantly like thinking about the business and how to get it on track. So at one point I couldn't sleep anymore because I was just like my mind was just still going on. So like every day now I just read before I go to bed. No business books, not allowed in the room, no phone, just my e-reader and just like this novel, and I'll just pass out. So it like that really gets switched me off. And the other one is actually exercising. So I didn't exercise like so I played football before, like soccer in the US, but now like at 5 p.m. my brain is just fried. I need to go to the gym. I need to get like or go for a run. Need to go out there, and I think that is really important because I've seen like if I don't do it, like I'm just like in a constant loop, business loop where I don't get out, and that's not like a healthy thing to have.
That's really good takeaway. I love that. What's been the most painful business lesson you've learned so far?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go into business anymore with my best friends, not because I don't believe in them. Actually, like my friend I was in business with, he's like incredible, like even like incredible at marketing growth, these kind of strategy, extremely smart guy. It would be the first guy I would hire. But the fact that like if something goes wrong or if the business is not taking off, what happened in our case, like separation is so much harder because you feel emotionally so much more attached to him and to the business. Like that I struggled a lot with that. And for me with Adrian, like we are business partners first. Obviously we became friends because we started working together. But if you would separate, it's like, okay, yeah, we are business partners first. So let's like look at like this problem or the struggle from a business perspective, and then we'll see if we still want to be friends. And that makes it so much easier. So that was a very valuable lesson. Like I needed to learn kind of.
Learned that lesson the hard way myself too. I actually think that's the best way to learn that lesson, but It can be a painful
People
one.
tell you before. People told me before, like, don't go into business with family or friends. But when I was like, we'll figure
It's
it
gonna
out.
be
Like,
different. Come on.
yeah. No, it's not. It's not. And to be fair, it could be like the picture perfect, and sometimes it could work. But what if it doesn't? Like, and it happened in our case. Then, like, it's emotionally draining.
All right, we're going to wrap up here. Simpleanalytics.com is where you can go to check it out. Get a free account if you don't already have it. I highly recommend it. And they did not pay me for saying that, by the way. But, Iran, is there anything else you'd like to tell people watching, listening today?
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And as you said, just feel free to give us a spin. If you have any questions, just like follow me, DM me on Twitter. I'm happy to set you up. I'm happy to help, and just give it a try. And if you like it, then like please stay on board. And if you don't, also fine. But just like I feel it might be something worthwhile checking out.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Thank you for having me.